Hi everyone, I'm Sharika Hapwarachi. I have more than 20 years experience in teaching mathematics for primary and secondary students. This is my YouTube channel Math Plus. Today we are going to learn O-level math questions part 2. Right, see my first question. Here are the first four terms of a number sequence S. So these are the numbers 20, 26, 32, and 38. The first part, find an expression in terms of n for the nth term of this sequence. And the B part, the nth term of a sequence R is given by 3n plus 14. There are numbers that are terms in both the sequence S and the sequence R. Find two of these numbers. Now, according to the four numbers what they have given, now I have written my first term is 20 and my common difference is 6. We know how do we find the common difference. I can take 26 minus 20, then I'll get 6, or else I can do 32 minus 26, I will get 6. So my first term is 20 and my common difference is 20. Now, when I want, I can use this one to form my nth term. So this is how we find the nth term. You write your first term, then you write the common difference. Then you write the common difference and think 6 plus what makes 14? According to this, 6 plus 14 equals 20, and you put the nth term for the common difference. So according to this, my nth term is 6n plus 40. The B part, they have given another sequence R as 3n plus 40. So first of all, you have to find at least 2-3 numbers. So numbers of this sequence. So I'm going to find my first term. I will take n as 1. So when I take n as 1, 3 times 1 plus 14, I will get 17. Then you take n as 2, 3 times 2, it's 6. 6 plus 14, it's 20. Similarly, you can find the third and the fourth term. So when I take my sequence R, I will get 17, 20, 23, and 26. And in my sequence S, I have 20, 26, 32, and 38. So therefore, I can see 20 and 26 terms are in both the sequences S and R. My second question, A part, simplify, B part, solve. Again, C part, simplify, and the D one, if k equals -3, what is 5k minus 20? Now, when we do the first part, you take the like terms together. So I have taken the like terms together. Then I have 5t plus 4t minus 3m plus 2m minus 6 minus 3. So 5t plus 4t, I'll get 9t minus 3m plus 2m. So signs are different. Then 3m minus 2m, I'll get 1m. It's negative 1m or minus 1m. Then minus 6 and minus 3, I'll get minus 9. In the B part, your first step, you have to expand this bracket. So 2 times 4y, you will get 8y. Then 4 times 2, you will get 8. Positive into negative, you will get -8 equals 20. Now this is a simple equation. We know what are the simple equation when we do the equations, the equation rules. So I have to take this -8 to the other side as +8. Then my next step is 8y equals 12 plus 8. 12 plus 8 is 20. I want to find the value of y. Therefore, you divide both sides by 8. Then y equals 2.5. In the C part, you have to simplify this. First, I'm going to multiply the numbers. 4 times 2, I'll get 8. And m times n, I'll get mn. Then my answer is 8mn. In the D part, the expression is 5k minus 20. Now you can substitute negative 3 for k. So then 5 times negative 3, which is negative 15, and you have negative 20. Signs are same. Then you can add and keep the same sign. Then you will get negative 35. Let's move to the next slide. The third question, a bag contains 3 red marbles and 2 green marbles of the same size. After John takes out a red marble randomly means without looking. Peter also takes out a red marble randomly. Using the symbol X, represent the sample space of the above experiment in the given grid. B part, find the probability of getting both marbles red. Now here, I will take this side as John's selection. I will take like this way the John selection. And this one, I will take it as Peter's selection. So that is how I have taken it. Now, according to the question, what they say, you have to draw the sample space. So when I draw the sample space, you will get altogether there are 25 terms, right? So for an example, if I take 1, I can represent this like this. Now I mention you, my vertical axis is the John's value and my horizontal axis is the Peter selection. So when I take this, I can represent this. John is taking a green marble and Peter is getting a red marble. So that is how I will get it, right? Okay. Then I have drawn my sample space. Altogether there are 25 events. Now in the B part, they ask, find the probability of getting both marbles are green. Now I can see when I take these 2 places, these 4 places, in all 4 places, I will get green marble from both. Now there are 25 events. Out of 25, I have 4 events which indicate both marbles are green. So then now we know when we write the probability, we write probability as a fraction. So therefore I can write 4 out of 25 or you can write 4 over 25. Let's move to the next slide. Factorize A part m squared plus 5m plus 6 and the B part 2n squared plus 13n plus 15. Now we know how do we do these sums. The first thing you should do, you have to multiply the power term and the number. So according to this sum, m squared into 6, you will get 6m squared. Then you have to write the factor pairs of 6. What are the factor pairs of 6? You will get 1 times 6 and 2 times 3. Now you have to identify the correct factor pair because my middle number is 5m. So therefore, I'm selecting 2 times 3. Now I will write my next step as m squared with, now I'm not going to write 5m. Without 5m, I'm going to write these 2 numbers. Instead of 5m, I'm going to write these 2 numbers. Then I'll get m squared plus 2n, 2m plus 3m plus 6. Now you get the common factors out. In the first 2, m is common. So then you will get m plus 2. In the next 2, 3 is common. You will get m plus 2. Then m plus 2 in one bracket, m plus 3 in another bracket. Similar way, you can do the B part as well. So first now what you have to do, you have to multiply the power term and the number. So when you multiply 2 times 15, you're getting 30n squared. Then your next step, you have to write the factor pairs of 30 and my middle number is 13. So you have to identify my middle number is 13. 10 times 3, 6 times 5, 15 times 2. So I have to select the correct factor pairs. It's 10 times 3. Then instead of 13, I'm going to write 10n plus 3n. Then I will get 2n squared plus 10n plus 3n plus 15. Similar way, you get the common factors out. Then you will get your final answer as 2n plus 3 in one bracket and n plus 5 in the next bracket. We'll move to the next slide. The fifth question, solve the simultaneous equation. Now we know when you get the simultaneous equations, now there you will get two unknown terms. So the first thing is you have to identify which term you're going to cancel first. So according to my two equations are 4y minus 3q equals 5, 3y plus 2q equals 8. I'm going to take q. So my first one, the coefficient is -3. Here I have the +2. So I'm going to make them common. I'm going to take 6 as my common term. To get 6, I have to multiply my first equation by 2 and my second equation by 3. Then I'll get 8y minus 6q equals 10. So this is my first new. And then when you multiply the second equation by 3, you are getting this. So this is my second new equation. Now when I see this, I can see here I have minus 6q and here I have plus 6q. So when I add these two equations, I can cancel these two. Then I'll get 8y plus 9y, it is 17y. 10 plus 24, I'll get 34. I have to find the value of y. Therefore, I have to divide both sides by 17. So that is my next step. You have to divide both sides by 17. Then you will get y as 2. After that, you can substitute to any equation. I have taken to the second equation. Then 3 times 2 plus 2q equals 8. 3 times 2 is 6. Now carry this 6 to the other side as -6. 8 minus 6 is 2. 2q equals 2. So divide both sides by 2. Then you will get q as 1. The sixth question, now you have to convert these things. The first one, 6.89 kilograms, you have to convert to milligrams. Now we know when you convert this thing, right? When you convert this thing, the kilograms, first you have to convert to grams. Then you can convert to milligrams. So that should be the way. Okay. First you convert kilograms to grams. How do we convert kilograms to grams? Multiplying by 1000. Then grams to milligrams again, multiply by 1000. So what you have to do, the 6.89 you have to multiply with 1000 into 1000. So that means 6 places you have to move. So when I move 6 places, I will get like this. So how do we read this number? 6,890,000, right? 6,890,000 milligrams I will get. The B part, 3.5 hours to minutes. We know 1 hour equals 60 minutes. So here I have 3.5. So therefore, first I have taken 3. So 3 times 60, I'll get 180 minutes. Then I have 0.5 hours. So 0.5 hours, when I multiply by 60, I'll get 30. To get the total, I will add 180 and 30, then I'll get 210 minutes. 5,678 milliliters, you have to write in liters and milliliters. We know 1 liter equals 1000 milliliters. So therefore, this number you can divide it by 1000. So when you divide it by 1000, what you have to do, you have to move 3 decimal places front. Now in this number, you don't see any decimal number or you don't see any decimal place. So when you don't see the decimal place, it's always back of the last number. That means it's here. So when you move 3 places, you will get like this. You get 5.678. That means you have 5 liters and 678 milliliters. The next one, you have to convert millimeters to meters. So first millimeters to centimeters, then centimeters to meters. Now, in the first part, it was a larger unit. You wanted to convert to a smaller unit. Now, there what we have done, we have multiplied. Now, here we do the other way around. Now, you have a smaller unit. This is the smaller unit, and you're going to convert into a larger unit. So when you want to do a converting thing from smaller unit to a larger unit, you have to divide. So first, 650 have to divide it by 10 to convert to centimeters, because we know 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. Then centimeter to meter. 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. So therefore, you have to divide it by 1000. Divided by 10 and divided by 100 means you have to divide it by 1000. You have to move 3 places front. Then you will get 0.65 meters. The next one, in the 7th question, the first part, forget about the decimals and just you multiply. So then 7 times 4, it's 28, and there are 3 decimal places. Here you have 1 and here you have 2. So altogether there are 3. Move 3 decimal places front, then you will get 0.028. B part, 5,674 divided by 100. Now divided by 100 means you have to move 2 places front. Now I told when you don't see the decimal, it's always back of the number. So you have to move 2 places front, then you will get 56.74. C part, double 789.568. Now you can use both methods. The first one, either you multiply by 2 or add the same number. Then you will get 1579.136. The D part, quarter of 4,100. We know what's the meaning of quarter. Divided by 4. I have showed the long division here. You take the first number. How many 4s inside 4? It's 1. Then 4 minus 4, it's 0. Take this 1 down. Inside 1, you don't have any 4s. So therefore, you put 0 and take this 0 down. Then inside 10, you have 2. 4 times 2, it's 8. 10 minus 8, it's 2. Take this 0 down. Inside 20, you have 5. So therefore, your answer is 1025. Let's move to the next slide. The 8th question, find the missing values. Now, according to this diagram, you have to find the value of A, B, and C. I'm going to start with B. Now, we know according to the theory, I can take angles on a straight line. Angles on a straight line add up to 108. So here I know it's 55 degrees and here it's 75 degrees. Therefore, easily I can find the value of B. First, you add these two, then take away from 180, then you will get B as 50 degrees. Then it's clear. You can see these two, I will show it. These two are parallel. This line and this line, these two are parallel, and this is acting like a transversal. So therefore, we know here I can take the shape of Z. Shape of Z. We call this shape of Z means the alternate angle. So therefore, A should be 75 degrees. And here I can take the shape of F. We know the shape of F. Shape of F means the corresponding angles. So therefore, C should be 55 degrees. That is one way of finding. But you can use any other theories even to find. Or else now when you know the value of A and when you know the value of B, you can take the sum of the interior angles of a triangle add up to 180. With that even you can get the same value. The B part, you have to find the missing angles. That means A, B, C, and D. Now, first, I'm going to find the value of D because it is the vertically opposite angles. We know vertically opposite angles are similar. So, therefore, D should be 77. Again, these two lines are parallel. So, therefore, I can take the shape of Z. Let me show it. Now, here, I can take the shape of Z. So, therefore, C also should be 84. So you can take it like that way. Then I know the C angle and this is the vertically opposite angle. And you can say here angles. Now here you can take angles on a straight line, add up to 180. Then you can get the A value as 96. Now I know my C value, A value and D value. Therefore you can apply the sum of the interior angles of a quadrilateral add up to 360. So with that, you can find the value for B as 103 degrees. The ninth question, find the shaded area. Now we know when you get a question like that, first you have to identify your shape. Now this is your shaded area. Now that is what you have to find. This is your shaded area. So this part you have to find. Now in this diagram, you can see you have a rectangle and a circle. So when you want to find the shaded area, this is my rectangle. From the rectangle area, you have to take away this circle area. So that is what I'm going to do. So first, find the area of a rectangle. We know how do we find the area of a rectangle? Just to multiply the length into width. Then 18 centimeters into 12 centimeters, you will get 216 square centimeters. Then you find the area of a circle. What's the formula we use? Phi r squared. Now here I have asked you to use phi as 3.14. But sometimes when for the exam, they don't mention. So when they don't mention, you can take phi as 22/7. Or in some places, you can use phi as 3.142. So here you can take phi as 3.14. Then the area of the circle, you can take phi r squared. So 3.14 into 4 centimeter into 4 centimeter, which is 50.24 square centimeters. Now you have to find the shaded area. How do we find the shaded area? From the area of the rectangle, you have to take away area of the circle. Then you will get 165.76 square centimeters. The 10th question, find the interquartile range of the group of data. We know how do we find the interquartile range. To find the interquartile range, you can take Q3 minus Q1. So how do we find Q1? First, you have to find how many terms are here. In this, I have 11 terms. So to find Q1, 11 plus 1, 11 plus 1, it's 12. So 12, when you divide by 4, because I want to find Q1, I'll get the third term. So according to this set of data, my third term is 2. That means my Q1 is, I'll get Q1 as 2. Then similar way, you can find the Q3. First, 11 plus 1, it's 12. First, you have to divide by 4 and then multiply by 3. So when you divide by 4, you're getting 3, then 3 times 3, the 9th term. That means first, second, third, fourth, fifth, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. So this will be my Q3, right? Okay, now we found Q1 and Q3. Now we know what is interquartile range, means the Q3 minus Q1. So according to this set of data, you have to do 10 minus 2, which is 8. Okay, so that is how we find this. Thanks for watching. And if you have gained some knowledge from this video, please subscribe and share with your friends. And also send me your comments as well. See you next time.